Remember that really big snowstorm that pounded the Northeast around Christmas? Well, it had a particularly bad attitude at my house. I was supposed to go to someone's 80th birthday party. I live on a hill, so I figured I'd better make sure I can get back up my driveway before I slide to the soiree. 3 hours later, I still wasn't back up the driveway or at the party. At one point, I drove down my street, which is also a hill, to try to go around and slingshot the Mercedes back up the driveway and into the garage. Needless to say, that didn't work. It was so bad out that one woman around the corner gave birth in her car on the way to the hospital. I don't think it was a quick labor, it was the fact that no one seemed to be able to get up any hills, so the stork went car to car, apparently. All I had with me was a bottle of wine for the party and a video camera. I thought about staying in the snowbank I was caught in and videotaping myself getting drunk, figuring that I wasn't really driving. Then I thought better of it and hit the Embrace roadside assistance button. I told the very polite woman with the southern accent on the other end of the telematics system that I was stuck in the snow. She replied, "Snow?" I said, "Yes, snow." Again, she said, "Snow?" Being the calm, infinitely patient person that I am, I explained that snow is this white stuff that tends to come down from the sky in the Northeast during the winter. The Southern Belle told me she needed a credit card from me to, quote, winch me out. I wasn't sure which sounded more personal, the credit card or the winching me out. I asked for a supervisor who told me that, indeed, Mercedes-Benz would charge me $105 to tow me up my own street. I asked the supervisor what exactly came for free with roadside assistance on a $170,000 car. He explained that they would bring me gas if I ran out, fix a flat, or tow me to a dealership. I told Mr. Supervisor that I would leave their $170,000 car in the snowbank and walk up my street to my nice warm house, and they could tow the 536 horsepower machine to a Mercedes dealership, and I'd come get it when it thawed. The only German I know is whatever words I learned while watching Hogan's Heroes, but I managed to say something to the car that got it back up my street, with a slight detour over the psychiatrist's lawn a few doors down. My sister asked me if the shrink came out and explained to me why I did it. She didn't. By the way, when I'm behind the wheel of a car in a full spin, I don't know if I really need the car to set off alarms and lights and let me know that I'm losing traction. I sort of figured that out on my own when the same oak tree appeared through every window of the car. This would be a good time to point out that I was driving a turbocharged front-engine rear-drive car with low-profile summer tires. Snow tires would have been a big help. A spokesperson for Mercedes told Real World Test Drive they usually take these AMG models out of the press fleet during the winter months in the Northeast. Ironically, the CL550 comes standard with Mercedes' excellent all-wheel drive system called 4MATIC, and it's about $60,000 less than the AMG. Yeah, you heard that right. The base model of this beautiful car costs $60,000 less and has all-wheel drive. According to Mercedes, the average household income of a CL buyer is about $500,000 a year. The household income of the folks spending the extra $60,000 for the AMG model is not recorded because the sample size is too small. All-wheel drive isn't even an option on the AMG version of this supercar, but sources within Mercedes tell us that may change. Now that I'm done running my mouth about spinning my wheels, I'll tell you about the rest of my week with the Mercedes CL63 AMG. In a word, amazing. And I mean that in a good way.
It's the high-performance version of the CL Class Coupe from Mercedes-Benz.
Eric Linder is with Mercedes-Benz USA.
One thing I will say about this car is that it's not flashy. If you live in a neighborhood with a lot of Mercedes, people aren't going to stop and point and stare and think you make too much or spend too much.
You have to know about cars in order to spot this Teutonic treasure among the other three-pointed stars traveling around the neighborhood. The guy who cuts my hair left a cloud of clippings when I offered to give him a ride, and he ran towards the car. Every surface inside the AMG CL63 made me feel like I was touching something special in a New York apartment that I could never afford. It was like driving a Rolex that could make it from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. The top speed of this gold medal Olympian is electronically limited to about 3 times the speed limit lower to save gas. Speaking of gas, the AMG Coupe gets 15 miles per gallon in the city and 21 on the highway. Al Gore may not buy one, but I've seen worse in this category.
Well, the CL63 has a brand new V8 bi-turbo engine, and while the power has been increased, the horsepower is up, the torque is up, we've actually been able to significantly improve the fuel economy of the vehicle as well.
The gas guzzler tax is $1,000, which to me means the AMG Coupe is a heavy drinker but not necessarily a drunk.
I'm not going to be embarrassed pulling up to a restaurant and I see some environmentalists getting out of their Prius.
No, not at all. This is a car with increased fuel economy and increased performance.
The night vision system in this car is different from the one used in BMWs. I can't say which night vision system is more effective, but they're both wonderful safety features. Night vision certainly makes pedestrians wearing dark clothing at night less of an endangered species. Mercedes has equipped the CL63 with just about every safety system except an angel that sits on your shoulder, although maybe they did and she's hiding under the special AMG leather. Mercedes' pre-safe system anticipates a crash, tightens the seatbelts, and does a lot of other stuff that may mean if the smash-up is unavoidable, the car may get hurt, but you shouldn't. The base price of the Mercedes CL63 is about $150,000. Carbon fiber trim, which makes you feel like you're inside a cool nightclub, adds about $3,500. The AMG Performance Package raises the electronically limited top speed to 186 miles per hour and adds 27 horsepower and a carbon fiber engine cover. By the way, each AMG engine is hand-built and the craftsman signs it.
Basically, it's one of the highest performance versions of an already high-performance car.
The Driver Assistance Package, which adds Distronic Plus adaptive cruise control, special brakes, active blind spot assist, and active lane keep assist, which means if your attention wanders, your car shouldn't. If you should start to fall asleep, the car also warns you to take a coffee break, but that's standard. The total price of the 2011 CL63 AMG 4-passenger coupe is about $170,000. I'm Grant Winter for Real World Test Drive.